Carl Jung posited that the most daunting experience for a narcissist is not the expression of your anger, but rather the absence of your emotional engagement. By the conclusion of this video, you will grasp precisely how that assertion transforms your perspective on narcissistic relationships. Should you find yourself ensnared in the intricate dynamics of a narcissist, you are likely familiar with the profound sense of exhaustion, the subtle manipulation, and the unsettling experience of doubting your own perception of reality. However, what many individuals fail to comprehend, and what Jung uncovered through years of exploration into the intricacies of the human psyche, is quite profound. There arrives a point at which the balance of power undergoes a profound transformation, and the narcissist is acutely aware of this shift long before you recognize it. Today, I shall elucidate the 7 psychological indicators that demonstrate not only your survival of a narcissist, but your triumph over them. And here lies the astonishing aspect: one may not fully comprehend the significance of their victory, yet rest assured, it is acknowledged. Remain engaged, for the 5th sign will profoundly alter your perspective on the process of personal healing. And sign number 7, that is the indicator that precipitates a profound psychological disintegration in narcissists. Sign 1, and your silence transforms into their most profound nightmare. Carl Jung identified that individuals with narcissistic tendencies thrive on what he termed psychic feeding. They fundamentally require your emotional responses to sustain their identity. However, upon reaching what Jung referred to as psychological detachment, an extraordinary transformation occurs. Your silence transcends mere retribution. That constitutes manipulation. This presents a distinct variation. This concept is what Jung referred to as individuation. You attain such a level of psychological autonomy that the need to explain, defend, or justify your existence to others dissipates entirely. Herein lies the harsh reality that Jung grasped. Those with narcissistic tendencies are rendered powerless in the face of silence. They are unable to comprehend it, manipulate it, or distort it. Your silence engenders a psychological void, as articulated by Jung, one that remains unfilled. However, there exists an even more profound phenomenon at play that warrants your comprehension. As 2 of their flying monkeys commence the act of abandoning ship. According to Carl Jung, individuals exhibiting narcissistic traits generate what he referred to as psychological satellites. Individuals who revolve around their constructed illusions. These are the aerial primates, the facilitators who previously subscribed to their interpretation of occurrences. However, Jung uncovered an intriguing revelation. Upon attaining genuine psychological liberation, these satellites commence their natural dissipation. What is the rationale behind this inquiry? As you cease to nourish the theatrics that sustain their existence, individuals begin to observe discrepancies. It becomes evident that chaos invariably accompanies the narcissist, leading to the realization that the issue does not lie with you. You are never present. Jung referred to this occurrence as a collective awakening. When a collective of individuals concurrently penetrates the facade of the narcissist observes the disintegration of their support system, acutely aware that this occurs due to your newfound psychological invulnerability. However, it is at this subsequent sign that matters become particularly intriguing. Indications arise when they begin to emulate your path to recovery. This is the point at which Jung's research becomes particularly intriguing. He uncovered that individuals exhibiting narcissistic traits engage in what he termed hollow mimicry. They may replicate actions, yet they cannot achieve authentic metamorphosis. Upon witnessing your healing, growth, and increasing strength, they are filled with a sense of panic. Suddenly, there is a surge of discourse surrounding self-improvement therapy and spiritual awakening. However, Jung cautioned us to delve beneath the surface. He stated, "The imitation of the narcissist is devoid of the genuine suffering that fosters true growth." While you have been engaging in the arduous process of introspection, A journey akin to what Jung referred to as shadow integration. Others have been occupied with their own pursuits. They are attempting to undermine your tranquility. Yet Jung possessed an insight that eludes them. Authentic psychological evolution cannot be feigned. And here is the aspect that will truly astonish you. They are not emulating you for the purpose of recovery. They emulate you, having come to the realization that you embody a state of existence that remains unattainable for them, an authentic freedom. However, the fourth indication unveils the instant they comprehend their total loss of control. Their efforts at hoovering fall utterly short. Carl Jung posited that the most desperate maneuver of a narcissist is what he termed psychological hoovering, an endeavor to draw you back into their constructed reality. They will explore all possible avenues. Insincere expressions of regret evoke a sense of longing for the past. Unexpected proclamations of affection, however, what Jung uncovered was quite revealing. Upon attaining genuine psychological sovereignty, their attempts at manipulation not only falter, but also go unnoticed. You perceive their tactics with clarity, having cultivated what Jung referred to as psychological immunity. Your responses are devoid of anger. Hope eludes you, and satisfaction remains absent from your experience. One experiences an absence, and within that absence lies the entirety of existence. Jung articulated that indifference represents the most profound fear for the narcissist, as it signifies their absence from your psychological reality. Upon the realization that their efforts at hoovering yield no tangible results, they encounter what Jung referred to as a narcissistic collapse, the unsettling acknowledgement that they have irrevocably relinquished their psychological influence over you. However, prepare yourself for the revelation of the fifth sign. This is the juncture at which Jung's research becomes profoundly transformative. Upon reaching the fifth sign, they may become psychologically imperceptible to you. As articulated by Carl Jung, the true triumph over a narcissist lies not in vanquishing them, but rather in rendering them psychologically inconsequential to your life. Jung referred to this phenomenon as psychological transcendence. Your thoughts do not dwell on their discussions, nor do you actively seek to evade them. They have vanished entirely from your cognitive realm. And here lies the intriguing twist. They perceive this intangible presence, and it utterly drives them to madness. Jung observed that individuals exhibiting narcissistic traits possess an uncanny sensitivity to the moment they cease to dominate another's thoughts. This awareness of their psychological insignificance engenders what Jung termed existential terror. They may intensify their actions, generate additional turmoil, or attempt to reinsert themselves into your consciousness. However, Jung cautioned that the more fervently they endeavor to regain your focus, the more apparent their failure becomes. You have attained a level of psychological liberation that they will never be able to achieve. However, this subsequent indication marks a significant descent into a more ominous realm for them. Affirmative 6, their disingenuous campaign, devolves into mere background noise. Carl Jung posited that when a narcissist loses control, they engage in what he termed psychological warfare, striving to undermine your reputation in order to preserve their distorted reality. However, Jung uncovered a remarkable insight. Upon achieving genuine healing, the smear campaign they orchestrated loses its potency. Individuals cease to engage. They lose interest. They begin to piece together the narrative and recognize that the narcissist consistently occupies the focal point of turmoil. Jung referred to this phenomenon as a collective psychological awakening, wherein an entire social group concurrently perceives the manipulations of the narcissist. The most harrowing aspect is that you are not even engaged in self-defense. You are merely existing. That genuine tranquility resonates more profoundly than any of their fabrications ever could. Jung articulated, "Truth does not require defense, it defends itself." Their smear campaign ultimately proves to be a spectacular failure, as individuals can perceive the underlying desperation that drives it. They observe your quiet success as the narcissist's cries echo into emptiness. However, sign number 7 represents the ultimate psychological blow that Jung posited leads to a total collapse of narcissism. Sign 7 indicates that they undergo what Jung referred to as psychological death. Herein lies the most significant revelation that Carl Jung uncovered regarding individuals exhibiting narcissistic traits. Their entire sense of self is contingent upon their capacity to exert control and influence over others. Upon the complete loss of this ability, they undergo what Jung referred to as psychological death, marking the disintegration of their constructed identity. It is evident that Jung recognized the absence of a genuine self in narcissists. Instead, they possess a fabricated identity, intricately designed through their capacity to influence those around them. Upon achieving total immunity to their manipulative tactics, you are not merely emerging victorious. You are, in fact, instigating a profound disintegration of their psychological identity. They may exhibit erratic, desperate, or even perilous behavior as they navigate what Jung referred to as existential panic. The unsettling awareness that, in the absence of their capacity to exert influence over you, they find themselves adrift in a crisis of identity. Yet, therein lies the profound insight that Jung unveiled. Your healing not only liberates you, but also reveals their true nature, not from a place of vengeance, but rather because genuine healing illuminates the darkness, exposing what lies hidden. Carl Jung's ultimate revelation regarding narcissistic relationships was as follows: the greatest apprehension of a narcissist lies not in your animosity, but rather in your capacity for recovery. Your healing serves as evidence that all the narratives constructed about your identity were fundamentally false. Upon attaining these 7 indicators, you have not merely endured the presence of a narcissist. You have risen above it. You have attained what Jung referred to as psychological sovereignty, liberating yourself entirely from their reality distortion field. And the most exquisite aspect you may not have even recognized is that you were, in fact, achieving success. Your attention was solely directed towards healing, evolving, and realizing your true potential. This represents the pinnacle of achievement. Jung made a significant discovery. Genuine liberation transcends the mere act of overcoming the narcissist. It involves reaching a level of self-authenticity such that their presence no longer holds significance in your mental landscape. The narcissist is aware of their defeat, even if you remain oblivious. However, you have now attained that awareness as well. This understanding serves as the ultimate key to achieving your total psychological liberation. I sincerely appreciate your companionship throughout this journey of discovery. If you appreciated the insights shared in today's discourse, kindly consider subscribing to the channel and disseminating this video to individuals who may find it advantageous.